All right, so I'm really liking how Dak Prescott is playing overall, probably the hottest quarterback in the National Football League, one of the front runners for the MVP. So after watching him Thursday night, thought let's put together a Dak video. For some reason, people think I'm a Dak hater. Love Dak. Just always trying to help these guys get better and see the big picture. So let's dive into it right here. And we're going to start here with what we call a double seam concept. So it's seam, and then outside, we're going to run stop routes. Out here, we're going to run a stop route. So idea, middle closed, right? One high safety. We're going to try to work those two safety, or that safety off of those two seam routes. All right, whichever way he goes. So here, see the safety starting to turn his hips this way. So I'm going to come back to CD that's in the slot here. And then the idea is if the slot defender is carrying, then we can work back to the stop on the outside. Or we can just be Dak and make a great throw. So you see everything here probably says we get a carry here, probably says let's go out here to the stop. But he gets leverage to the inside of the defender and decides, forget that, I got my main guy, I'm going to drive this throw kind of on a back shoulder because I've got leverage. Boom, great throw right there. Moving on with completions, big plays. Okay, so again, this is all just about processing information. So you see back here, possible two safeties, possible safety roll down to the strong side. What they're going to have is this double slant combination, right? We talked about this with the Cowboys a number of times. Again, they're still running the three-step slant on the inside, which not a big fan of. Rather it be a one-step slant, but the one adjustment they make is they're running it to the wide side of the field. So it's giving more time to be able to let this develop and more space to let it develop. On the front side, they're running kind of one of their common concepts, kind of a go out here, and then we work and find an area down there to check down if we get the right coverage. So the right coverage is we get cover two, or a look with one defender inside and the underneath coverage to the side will read the double slants. If we get the corner to fall off, now we'll read back to our three-man combination to the front side. Okay, so you see they're going to stay with a safety high here. This guy's backing off, but just one defender to that side. So we're going to pull him, and we're going to come back here. Good read by Dak. I like the timing. Bang, ball's out. But again, I like the spacing and the fact that they're running it to the wide side of the field. Something that they didn't do against San Francisco led to an interception that we broke down a long time ago. But I love Dak seeing the field and getting through things on the field. Like this concept right here. So we're going to run a go here. So clear out the backside. We're going to motion down, like the motion here, to kind of mess it up so we don't get any kind of a jam here. I'm going to burst outside, release, and run the in. But what it really is we're going to run the over here. And then on the backside, we always want some sort of flat defender hold. Okay, so here they're going to use the tight end, and they're actually going to run a pivot route here. So I actually like it better, just going straight to the flat. But a lot of it depends on who we're going to read on this play or where we're going to read this. So follow me here. Okay, so you see the backside. We've got our play action. So this back's going here. So if we end up going to this side, I like the combination. High-low here off of the in and the check down. If we end up going to the other side, as we said, we've got this tight end here working inside and then back out. So that's what I was talking about, depending on where you want to throw this. A lot of times the over is thrown outside the numbers. So if it's thrown outside the number, that's where I like a flat, because then we're going to read the outside defender. So I want to get somebody in his face in the flat so I can throw this over the top of him when he pulls down. But there's always different ways of which we can read this. We can also throw this in this area of the field, kind of between the hash and the numbers if we want. So this little pivot inside allows us to almost read this defender. If he wants to clutch onto that pivot as it starts down, I'm going to pull that guy down. We can throw it in that first window if we want, or depending on timing, if it works out, we can get back to the outside with good timing so we can high-low this defender. So this pivot works right there. So right there you see we got Bobby Wagner to pull down. So if he wanted to, he's got this window right here. So he doesn't have to worry about anybody over here peeling off or anything like that. I could hit it up and over in between the hash and the numbers. Or as you see, the pivot is going out to pull down this defender. So I could let this go a little bit further and throw it out over the numbers. So it gives you different options depending on how quickly you want to hit it, where the zones and the windows in the zones are on that particular play. All right, so interesting play right here, and put it on here because this is a play that was one of my favorite plays in essence when I was playing. So it's what we call an influence shallow. So this guy's trying to influence this first backer inside, trying to get him to pull to the backside, cover him to some degree. Then we're going to run what we called F post right here. So if we get that inside defender to pull to the inside, I'm looking to hit that F post, and we will read this defender right here. If that happens, F post, he sinks inside on the F post. Now we're going to run her under to the outside. So it almost becomes like a triple slant type combination, reading it inside out based on inside backer to outside backer and working across there. Then what we did on the backside is we ran a deep comeback back here along with our back checking and then going over to this side. So if we read this and this guy that we're reading doesn't get influenced by this shallow, he goes outside, then we say to ourselves, well, now they've got two defenders outside for our two receivers. We don't like it. We would pop our feet all the way back here to the comeback. We would look comeback, and then we would work the shallow to the swing off of the underneath backer to the backside. So similar to what they do right here. So you see Dak kind of peeks to the front side, doesn't get the influence now, still would have this outside one if he wanted it, but he peeks there, doesn't get what he wants as Bobby Wagner pushes through, so he's going to bounce back to the backside. On the backside, they actually have a go route instead of a comeback. Now, the only problem with that is you don't get to see it. You're a little bit late to it, and it takes a little bit longer, and you got to throw it a little bit further to get it out there. Now, ball's short, probably because of all that, but they get the PI here, and they're all good. But you see how this plays out. If he was running a comeback, you'd have a great shot at the comeback, and then you would have this guy isolated on the cross to the back if you wanted it. The other thing that I would say, because again, all this is about teaching more than anything. The other thing that I would say is I don't really want my back over to this side on this particular play because it gives me what we call a 4-strong look. So a 4-strong look is going to make the defense very conscious of the concept going to the front side. We got 4 guys over there. Obviously, most of the time we're going to try to overload that side. So they look to push that coverage to that side. I'd rather have my back over here so we don't have that. We can get the back out here to the swing and put more pressure on the backside guy quicker, but it doesn't make this guy here as conscious because now this guy starts to cross his face and he realizes, okay, now the 3 receivers are weak side instead of strong side, and it can be better for us to open up what we're really trying to get on this play, which is the F post. But regardless, good read by Dak here. Good job getting back and then getting that ball out to the go route and getting the pass interference. So that pass interference leads to the next play here. Love this right here. Love this. So we're going to motion across and we're going to run a little under center play action double post. Okay, so post here, going to widen here, and then have the post to the outside. So to me, always about details, okay, as much as we can. So I'd really like to see Michael Gallup here kind of seam inside and then push up and run the post. Why do I want to see him seam inside? Because the idea is we're trying to get inside this safety as fast as we can. Okay, because that's my read as a quarterback. When I get a quarters look like this, I'm reading that safety. If I get that safety to squeeze to the inside, that's when I'm running this or hitting this post to the outside. So I'd rather see him, instead of going straight up the field here, right? So he goes straight up the field. There's no movement by this safety until I get inside of him. So I'd like to get it inside of him a little bit sooner if I could. Even on that play, as we motion, man, here, and just see what this guy does. If this guy widens, we can go inside of him and we put all the pressure on that safety right now. I love the fact that the post, outside post, is coming from the outside position. So we're letting the inside post go first, which is always key because we need that influence first. So it's kind of like a deeper double slant combination. Get inside, get to the inside number of that safety here so I can open up the outside slant. So they get there, do a nice job, but really good by Dak, because what you'll notice is Dak is hitching at the top of his drop. So there's two different ways to do this. A lot of times down there, we would plant our back foot and we would drive this throw. Okay, so as long as we got a hold in here with the safety, I got to plant that back foot and I got to beat him with the throw by driving that throw in there. So that's one way in which you can throw it. But if we're going to hitch, which Dak does right here, we've got to change the throw. If I'm going to hitch, I'm going to be a little bit late, right? The ball would be out right now if I didn't hitch. If I'm going to hitch, ball's going to be a little bit late. So instead of driving this throw now, I am going to set this throw up over the top of that safety. So now we're getting the safety to hold at the goal line, and we're not trying to beat him with the throw. We're going to beat him over the top because he's playing at the goal line. So I love that aspect too, that if he's going to hitch, this ball has to go up and over. You see that? It's high into the back pylon. Because see where that safety's going? That safety, if I'm hitching and trying to drive this throw, at that timing where I'm just throwing it right now and I'm trying to drive this throw right here, this safety has a chance to come off of it and intercept it. So it either got to be on him right now, or if I'm going to hold it, now the ball's got to go up and over. Watch this throw up and over, right? Where that inside safety can't get it, I'm going to put it high to the back end line. So only my guy can get it. Great throw and timing for Dak if you're going to take a hitch down there in the red zone. Okay? Put this on there because I just really like this concept. Okay, so again, here's going to be a four-strong look. So they're going to run pop, pop, and then what everybody's doing in the league right now with the four-strong is they run their back on the swing here, but they use this extra guy, whoever that extra guy is, fullback, could be a tight end, but they use that extra guy to be a lead blocker over here. So I'm going to look backside and try to get my one-on-one if I like it. Okay, that's what the four-strong is for, to get a best player, CeeDee Lamb, one-on-one on the backside. If I like it, I'm taking it right now. If I don't like it, then I'm basically going to progress back. So I'm going to try to get this linebacker to move out here to take away the slant. If so, then I'm going to work back. Basically, this becomes 2, 3, and then 4 here, and that 4 has a lead blocker. But I like what Dallas does here, and you'll see the progression, right? We're looking back here at the slant. Don't like it because the safety's coming down. Dak does a nice job of resetting back, working to the inside, getting the ball out quick. Really well done. But I want you to watch what they do on the front side, because I thought this was a great little adjustment here. Is that I honestly, and I don't know this for sure, but I honestly think this guy's going to go and lead block for the back. But Seattle brings pressure to the front side. So instead of leaving this as a hot situation for Dak, where he's looking over at CD and that guy would be coming free and maybe hit him in the back, or he'd have to see that and throw hot out the front side, which would be a great option, right? Front side hot to the back with a lead blocker would be great. But now we're taking away that aspect of it and we're allowing the fullback to block this guy. So this guy comes, we're going to block him, we're not hot, and now it simply becomes the same read, but the back just doesn't have a lead guy, but I don't have to panic as a quarterback. I don't have to get the ball out as a hot if I'm the quarterback, and I can go ahead and read through my progressions. Really like what Dallas did there with that little twist to a popular play in the NFL. Okay, the one area that I want to continue to see improvement just for the Dallas Cowboys is down in the red zone. Okay, so here in the red zone, we're going to run basically a combo. So it's a slant, or a skinny post down there with the flat, and then they do a nice job of bringing their receiver back here to recover. So we're going to look for that slant or that skinny first, and then if somebody comes down or there's a safety back here to take this away, it's obviously going to go flat, and then we're going to recover in here to the shallow route or the crossing route. So right here, what I'd really like to see Dak do is just take the flat. Okay, so we don't have the skinny. You don't like the skinny at this point. If you like to hold in there and take the skinny, I'm okay with that. But he's getting pushed. Actually looks more like an in route here than a skinny, so it takes a little bit longer. So you got to let it develop. But when you see the safety coming down, he's the only guy that's left in the flat. So as you come back here, to me, you probably need to read the flat first, especially down in the red zone, because they're bringing pressure right here, which is making them hot in this situation. That safety is going to come down and go over the top of that in skinny post back there. Just take your flat. Take your flat right there with all that space and let Tony Pollard go one-on-one with the Prez there and see what you got. But even with that, great job by Dak. He knows he's hot. Can't wait for that in skinny to happen. I'm going to recover right back here to Brandon Cooks, and we're going to get ourselves a touchdown. Great reaction. Could have hit the flat right there as is hot, able to hold on to it, knows what his answer is with that hot, and finds himself a touchdown. Okay? Like this one here. So it's kind of a pure progression. We're going to run a corner, motion CD, and going to run an out. And then on this backside, we're going to run an in, a hook, and a swing over here. Okay, so we got the overload to the front side. We're trying to get this backside more of a pure progression. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, especially if you start to the left-hand side. So you'll see Dak here start left, doesn't like it, comes back and rips that in back to the backside. Love to see this be a little bit quicker, okay? And so when I say quicker, so we're looking at this first, okay? That one's dead. We've got a cornerback sitting outside leverage. I don't have time to wait and see if he's able to cross his face, so that one's pretty much dead. Look at CD, same thing. Outside leverage right there. So both of those are dead fairly quickly. I'd love to see Dak get back just a touch sooner, because as he goes to hit this in, does a great job, but this is the guy that gets involved here as he lets this in route happen a little bit later than we'd like. Right? It's a nice job, though. He slows his receiver down and understands where he's got to hit this, understands where his biggest problem is. We got to keep this throw on the front side. So puts it on the back shoulder of Brandon Cooks right here, gets the completion, but he just doesn't have to wait, I don't think, as long to the backside because of the leverage that he had, but really well done to be able to work through this and get back to his receiver and set them up inside the red zone once again. Okay? So here's another look, similar type play. Motion CD across, going to run him on the slant there. And once again, we have Tony Pollard coming out here to the flat. So as we run this, okay, the read on this play is going to be the flat defender. Okay, it's a safety coming down here. So I want to see what he does. He's got to come flying down here right now to give me that opening for the slant. If he hesitates at all, especially down in the red zone, because my red zone philosophy is always get completions. Make the quick completions underneath and force the defense to tackle instead of trying to throw the ball into the end zone and throw it through all these tight windows. So as we come out, what's he do? What's the safety do? Just hesitates, right? His feet are stuck in the ground. He's 5 yards deep. Right there, he gets a little bit of a rub also because he doesn't come downhill. So we get a little bit of a rub by our slant. Love to see Dak just take this flat right now, and we got ourselves a touchdown, right? So you're reading that safety. Safety slow plays it with depth and width. We're always reading defenders width and depth, okay? So he's in a fine position from a width standpoint, but since he starts at 5 yards, he's got to come downhill. Otherwise, I gain the advantage for my back. So again, just getting a little bit more efficient down here in the red zone. Dak's trying to hold in there and hit the slant. Just read that guy, make him come downhill so he doesn't interfere with the slant as he does right there. Should have had the flat there for an opportunity for a touchdown. Okay, I love this here. So we got a little play back here called hiss. So that's a hitch in a seam. And then we've got a play on the front side we call knife. Dallas likes to run this. Okay, so it's this combination right here. So if we've got the hiss down here, we like it against any kind of middle closed or corner off where we can read that hitch, and then possibly to the seam. If I get a too high look, safety over here, I want to make sure that that safety stays backside, and then I'm going to get my high-low off the Mike linebacker right here. Exactly what Dak does. He peeks backside. Peeks backside just to see what this safety's doing. If this safety goes rolling in here, now I'm back to this seam hitch. That safety goes high and to the outside, and so when he works out to that side, now we're back to this read off of Bobby Wagner. Bobby does what we expect him to do, carries down the middle. You see a quick one hitch, hit that back foot, boom, ball out of my hands, beat the backside linebacker, let my guy go and run. Really good stuff by Dak, recognizing coverages and getting the ball out of his hands. Okay, I like this. So this comes back to the first play. Double seam. Okay, double seam combination. Stops on the outside. Okay, remember what we said? We got middle closed again. That's what he had on the first play. So we're reading that safety. We're going to work off of that safety, and then we're going to work off the carry of the slot defender. And this is one thing that I love about Dak too is, granted, okay, he knows where CD is. On the first play, CD was right here. He threw the back shoulder to him even though he didn't get a perfect look. Now, CD is down here running the stop route. So he understands where CD is. Got basically the same kind of look here. So he's trying to work the safety this direction. Comes back here. He gets a carry by the safety. Boom. Now he's right outside to the stop. Taking information that he got earlier in the game. They're mixing guys up and putting them in different spots. And then, boom, he's finding the right guy, finding the carry, and getting the stop to the outside. Really, really well done in his process by Dak. Okay, this is one of the biggest things down in the red zone for all quarterbacks and coaches. All right, is that you've got to get set quickly. Everything happens faster in the red zone. We've already seen that on a few different plays, so you have to be ready for anything to happen. Okay, so here they're going to run what looks like a little choice route right here by the back. So pushing up, and then I think he has the option to go either way there. Now, he may be a little bit quick on his route because he makes it happen really, really fast, but for Dak Prescott, knowing that it's going to happen faster down in the red zone, knowing also that I'm in the shotgun, I've got 5 yards depth already. It doesn't have to be a deep drop. We're going to run some stuff coming over here to this side. But really the key on this play is this guy right here. So as a quarterback, I'm going to come back and I'm going to set quick. And I'm going to see that guy right there. Even if I want to look him to the left, look him to that side, that's all I need to do is I need to see that he stays there, because if he stays there, I have room. If he works to the weak side, then I've got to work back to the strong side. So here, Dak does a nice job of peeking that guy, but just look at how deep his drop is. Just too deep of a drop. His guy comes out of it here, but he's got to be in the back foot, and it's got to be letting the ball go right now. He's a little late with this drop, taking too deep of a drop for the red zone. Tries to put it on the back shoulder, becomes a dangerous throw. Now, I like everything that he does. Catch it, set to the left right here. Set to the left. If this guy stays back here, look to hit CD on that side. If you set to the left and you get any movement right here, get back here to your guy and be ready for him to win in or out. Have your feet set to get the ball out quick. So everything he does is right, except a little bit too long on his drop. So he can't get the ball out on time and get the touchdown here, making it really, really tough where that's just one of those down in the red zone. Get set quarterbacks as fast as you can. As long as you have the depth and timing inside the 5, you're never going to need 7-step timing on that. Get your body set and go. All right, so we've got a wheel combination right here. So wheel combination is a post, a wheel, and then we're putting a shallow on it and the back on a swing. So like this combination down here, thinking the post first, but We got a safety sitting right there in that spot. So we're Xing that out in terms of throwing it. But what I need to see now is I need to see where the coverage comes from. So this is another one of those kind of unique plays where what we have is we're going to basically have a high-low here with our post and our shallow, and we're basically going to have a high-low here with our wheel and our shallow, or our wheel and our swing here. And so why is that important? Because the goal is to figure out what's taking away the play. So if I come back to look at the post, now I understand that the safety's taking it away, but I want to see what that next linebacker does. So you see this linebacker gets depth because he's not sure what's happening behind him, but he's getting depth to take away the skinny. So if that happens, we'd love as a quarterback to understand, okay, we won off of that high-low right there. Went off of that high-low and just put it right underneath here to our shallow. Okay, the other way to do it is to go here and look at this wheel and this swing. So if we didn't get that to happen early on, we always like to hope that our skinny will carry that cornerback from the outside, and then we would simply high-low this guy. As long as we get the carry from the corner, we don't get that here, but if we did, now we would high-low this guy. He comes off, I throw the wheel. He carries the wheel, I throw the swing. So really good concept that gives us levels and two different reads based on what the defense is doing. Like to see Dak right here just recover back inside off of the depth of this linebacker, but I get it. He's kind of Xing out the post, so he's looking for the wheel now. The only problem is we've got two guys over here for the wheel, so one can play deep, one can play shallow. Still getting through the process, and I like it. Tough thing to see because you kind of got to see levels on this particular play, and you can see what happens because they've got those numbers over there. Okay, so here, similar to what they've been doing, right? We've talked about it a number of times. The in, the skinny, the slant, and the flat. Over here, they've run this numerous times down in the red zone, and I told you most of the time it's like, take the flat, take the flat. Here comes that safety down again. They get the same look. Safety is down to the flat, always reading that defender first. Always reading him first. Okay, he's got depth. I'm thinking probably flat here if I just had a flat. But you're going to notice on this play that Dallas was running a couple times, so they said, oh, we're going to fake the flat, and then we're going to run the wheel, okay? So I get it. I understand why they're doing it, but still, always reading this guy and always looking slant first, so to speak, really looking in that window, ready to throw the slant first based on that movement by that backer. So in this particular case, you see the backer, see how he takes off? Safety actually, but you see how he takes off. He moves fast, he moves quick to get width here, and he opens up that window. Different than what he had done on the other ones. There's the throw right there, back behind it. But you got to anticipate and say, I am reading this like I would read slant flat. So I'm trying to get the slant first, and then I will work to the wheel late, knowing that we don't have a flat on it, but everything is about that same defender. He's slow to it. Now I'm going to think wheel because he's taking away the slant. He's fast to it, makes a fast move and opens up that window. Now I've got to think slant down there in the red zone, yet he kind of forces it to the wheel, and a great catch by his tight end. They get a touchdown either way. Just want a little bit more efficiency down in the red zone, but love everything that Dak's doing and the way he's processing information.